and Gayla. Connie and I are here to show some of our favorite ways to celebrate in our backyards this summer. We shared last year a recipe where we grilled vegetables and put it in a pasta salad, and you guys went nuts over it. It was such a fun recipe. And we get so many questions from people like, what else do I serve with my meat, with my chicken, with my steak? So we want to give you another option. It's a grilled veggie family, but we want to make it versatile so you can use it for literally any flavor profile. It's really adaptable to allergies and preferences. So should we get to it?
Yes, because I think that the best part about this is because you can cook it all different components and have it pretty much ready, but then people get to make it and customize it themselves.
Yes.
And so that makes it really great for crowds, for family members, or for picky eaters. So
Yes.
yes.
Which we all know some of those. No, I'm not. Okay, the basis of our grilled veggie bowls are the grilled veggies. We love grilling vegetables because it gives a really beautiful finish on the outside. You have like a nice crispy char, but I also feel like it brings out the most flavor in your vegetables. So you're gonna end up with a really flavorful, delicious meal without a lot of additives or any extra ingredients. It's really simple.
You have to be a little bit more careful though. Like with a protein, you can kind of set it and leave it for a little bit. With veggies, they all have kind of their own time frame, right?
Yes. So one thing we like to do is make sure that we cut them in a uniform way. So our asparagus we put in kind of bigger chunks because it's going to cook a little bit faster. But you'll notice most everything is cut into similar sizes. So while it cooks, it'll finish at the exact same time, and you won't end up with like really flaccid zucchini. So you don't want really thin slices of zucchini. You want a nice big chunk.
Are you going to be throwing these right directly on the grill? Tell me how you're going to cook them.
Yes, so once they're all cut and ready to go, I'm going to toss them into a bowl and just mix up the different types of vegetables that I have. And one thing to keep in mind when you're grilling vegetables is you want to make sure that you don't fill your grilling surface too much.
Yes.
When you fill it too much, you end up steaming the vegetables instead of cooking them and charring them on the outside.
And we're grilling, so we want that flavor on all the pieces.
Yes, and we'll kind of toss it once we're in there.
Okay, so now we've got all of our vegetables ready to go in the bowl. What do we need to add to it?
So what we want to make sure we do is have a little bit of oil, and I like to use grapeseed oil because it has a higher smoke point, so it's not going to give you that like burned oil flavor.
What flavor can you get from grapeseed oil?
It's a really mild flavor. I don't really feel like I notice it. When I use olive oil, I notice the char of the olive oil more than I know the char of the vegetable. So
Okay.
I prefer a grapeseed or a vegetable canola oil for the barbecue. You want to use a high heat oil.
The grapeseed's
Peanut
gonna
oil
be the
could work
best.
too, but
Peanut allergies.
yeah, I don't know a lot of people who stock peanut oil in the kitchen. I'm honest.
Deep fryers.
Yeah, deep fryers for sure. So I love to just do a little drizzle of grapeseed oil, and this just helps to crisp up the outside.
Okay.
And then I like to season it pretty. You don't
Heavy?
need a ton.
Oh,
I don't.
not
Yeah, I
heavy, okay.
actually like to keep it pretty sparing, and then after it's done grilling, I like to finish with a little bit of salt on top.
Good.
So this is just a little bit of kosher salt you can sprinkle on, some fresh cracked pepper.
That's
so
really
good.
all the salt you use?
Yeah.
I think I would have gone like 4 times.
Really? I love the flavor of the grill and the char on
Yes.
it, so I don't feel like you need a ton. But if I'm really feeling fancy, I'll put a little bit of Chef Todd's or some kind of seasoning salt, something that adds a little more flavor profile. But for what we're doing today, we're gonna add a lot of different elements. So I like to keep this more neutral so that whatever sauce I add doesn't interfere.
Okay.
Yeah, and then I just kind of toss that up. So what you wanna make sure is that every piece is coated.
I'll put it
This
back.
is a fun experience, watch out. You can use really any vegetables like broccoli, cauliflower.
Clean out the fridge.
Yes, this is like the perfect clean out the fridge meal for sure. Yeah, and then once you've got those all coated, we're going to put
So
them on the barbecue.
you're not going to throw this directly on your grilling grates, right?
No,
Okay.
yes. So what we love to use is a grilling basket. It has a base and sides with holes in it so that it will get that char flavor from the grill. And
It keeps everything contained. so it
yeah,
doesn't
yeah, so
fall
all your
through.
pieces. You could definitely put all of these on a skewer and do it on the skewer. That's a great option if you don't have a grilling basket, but it's gonna take way more time.
for that.
Right. So
Let's go to
get
the
it on the
grill.
grill. Yeah. Okay, we've got our grill preheated to a medium-high heat. It was super hot. And I like to preheat my basket because then it just starts cooking the minute the vegetables
That
touch.
sizzle tells you that it's doing its job.
Yes, and you can tell this is like a very well-seasoned basket. I don't like scrub it out when I'm done. I just burn off any char, brush it with the grill brush, and then it's ready to go for the next round. So I'm just gonna toss these in here. You'll notice I don't have a ton in here. It'll cook faster and we'll get more flavor if you don't overfill your basket. And then we're just gonna close the lid.
So
Okay, so for the bottom of our bowl, we want to cook some kind of starch.
Okay.
That's going to help make this feel like a meal,
Okay.
right?
Yes.
So some options for starches would be like grilled potatoes. I love to toss grilled bread into a grill basket and just toast that up. You could use rice or quinoa, farro, or use pasta like we shared in our recipe last year.
So this is just giving us a little bit more substance.
Yeah.
Especially for kids or maybe
Right.
like husbands that are like, wait a minute, I need a little bit more than
You
just vegetables.
Yeah, you just fed me vegetables for dinner.
Yes.
Yeah, so we just like to make sure that, on our potatoes, they're cut pretty evenly. And on this version, we're gonna just put in a couple different kinds of potatoes. So we have like a golden Yukon, this is a russet, and then some sweet potatoes.
Do you have a flavor preference that you prefer?
So I feel like the golden ones are really creamy. They're gonna get a nice texture on the outside, but to be honest, I almost always have russets at
You
home.
have it.
Yes, and they
These,
cook great.
these do have a little bit more of like a buttery taste
Yes.
to them when they're cooked.
Yeah, for sure.
Now you've got some sweet potatoes here. I probably would have peeled them. How come you left the skin off?
Yes, so I like to leave the skin on. It gives like a nice little char texture on the
Okay.
outside. It gets kind of crisped up, especially once we toss it in the oil. It's gonna be good.
Just
Yeah.
gives it a little extra crunch.
Yes,
Got
but
it.
totally you can take the skin off if you're a purist, if you're a more rustic style.
I mean, it
Yes.
gives my kids an extra chore to do, like while we're
Right.
getting ready. Peel the potatoes.
Yes. You guys all need a job.
Yes.
Okay, so we're gonna cover this in a little bit of oil. Same thing, some salt and pepper. I do salt my potatoes more.
Yes.
Yeah,
I would agree with this.
like that much.
And maybe a little more.
Yes. And because this is the base of our vegetable bowl, I think you can get away with a little more salt on it.
Okay.
Then we're just gonna toss those up. Now for this one, we're gonna use a different basket. Ta-da! We call this the cage.
Cage. I love this style of basket. I feel like you could kind of be a little bit more like
Aggressive with your
yes,
tossing.
with my shaking, and I
Yes.
know that I'm going to get all the different sides of the potato or whatever I'm doing. You do have to be a little bit careful because some of these more delicate things will stick more to this style. But again,
Your tomatoes might pop or something
Yes.
while you're tossing, yeah.
But-
But it's great for potatoes.
for potatoes, we love this.
So we're just gonna set this right on the grill.
One thing that I do find in classes though is people love to overfill this one.
Oh,
And so
sure.
again, keeping that about halfway so that it has plenty of room for it to move around when it gets ready to go. But
Give them a little space.
don't fill this one too much.
Yeah, they need some room to breathe. Okay, let's throw this on. Okay, let's look at our veggies.
Oh,
They look
great.
beautiful.
Look how plump everything's getting.
Yes.
This is yummy. So would you toss this one?
Yes.
Okay.
So at this point, we're just gonna take, I love this high heat spatula. You can use like a metal spatula for grilling. Look at that char. So tasty.
So smart to keep your grill basket on while you're prepping all your veggies. I
Yeah.
think that saves so much cooking time.
Right.
And I feel like once smells start going and kids are seeing food, they're like, okay, I'm ready to eat. So
Mhm.
that just probably saved you 10 minutes.
Yes, and honestly, like full transparency, I leave my grill basket on my grill all the time because anytime I grill something, I throw veggies in with it.
You want some extra veggies.
Yes, even if I don't eat them with that meal, it's so nice to even just have some grilled onions or grilled broccoli for lunch the next day, or like the bread chunks or something. So my grill basket pretty much lives on my grill. It's always there. Okay, so the vegetables have been on there for about 6 or 7 minutes. They're looking really good. One of our tricks is to pull your vegetables off while they still have a little bit of a tender crunch to them. By kind of undercooking them, they're going to maintain that like vibrant, beautiful color. They start to kind of like dull and look more bland when they're overcooked. So these look great. We're going to pull these off and we'll get ready to make our vegetables. Okay, we want to show you some other options for vegetables. We love to just peel, what do you call it? Shuck the corn.
Take the skin off.
Take the outside part off.
It's a
we
kid's
just,
chore.
right, another kid's
Yes.
chore. Keep the kids busy. And we just throw this whole cob right on the grill.
So I've heard some people will actually leave it in the husk. Have you ever done it that way? I personally just have always done it like
I
this.
like to do it this way because I'm always in a hurry to eat it, and I feel like it takes a long time to cool down when it's in the husk. So, but I think it like steams it more. You don't get the char on the outside, but you have a more steamed, tender piece of corn.
And the great part about when you're grilling corn is you're getting all of that flavor on here. I think if I was going to be using it in my Traeger or my smoker, leaving that husk on will kind of help keep that smoky flavor
Sort of steam it.
inside it. So again, like see how you're gonna like where you're gonna be using it.
Yes.
But on the grill, I love to just take it right off because that all of that flavor is right there. This is so sweet.
It's so sweet and just the right amount of like char on the outside You really don't need to turn it very often. You just throw it right on there, turn it like 3 times. Yeah, and you're good to go. They're so good.
Do you oil these?
I don't.
Okay.
Nope, just throw those straight on. But what I do oil, we have some big, beautiful portobello mushrooms. Yes. So I just use a pastry brush and some of that grapeseed oil, and I'm just going to brush that on the top. That just helps keep it from drying out. It's going to keep some of the moisture in the mushroom, which just, you know, keeps it less like jerky.
Do you salt it, pepper it, or just let the
Yeah.
oils do all the flavor?
Yeah. I usually will oil one side and then put it on the grill and oil the other side.
Okay.
But yeah, you can just flavor that, season it on top a little bit. So delicious. Last year when we talked about our grilled pasta salad recipe, we shared a lot more about vegetables. So if you have more questions about cooking or preparing the vegetables, refer back to that video. But really there are no rules with this recipe. Like whatever vegetables call to you, use them. Carrots, any root vegetable.
Yeah, especially in the summer right now where we're like, if we're getting a plethora of vegetables in
All
our
the
gardens,
zucchini.
all the zucchini, all the tomatoes.
Yes.
This is a great way to use up whatever you have. So don't feel like you have to go to the store to get extra things if you've got a lot of one thing. Just use that and add it to all of the great things that we've got.
The next element that is totally optional in your veggie bowl is to add some kind of protein. Now, without the protein, this is a great vegetarian meal, especially if you have this like giant mushroom. So good.
My house full of boys, if I throw a meal out there with no protein, they're like, Mom, this is a snack.
Right.
This is not going to be a meal. So
When
this
did we
makes
eat dinner?
Yeah, this makes it so you can put as little or as much protein as you want, but cooks it in a great way where you get so much flavor.
Yes. So today we did it on kebabs. If you were feeding a large crowd, like if you wanted to do this for a family party or some gathering, cooking like a large chicken breast or a large steak, and then you could slice that up and top your veggie bowls. But a kebab is so fun.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Now, I prefer when I do kebabs to do all of one kind of meat on each kebab, and I don't put vegetables on it. So like the beautiful classic kebab look, I love the way it looks, but something always ends up totally obliterated.
This onion is going to cook way quicker than this big piece of meat.
Which with steak is okay because you can have a little bit
Raw,
underdone,
yeah.
but the last thing you want is like a totally destroyed onion with a raw piece of chicken.
Yes.
So the way I simplify that is just use one skewer for each type of meat. And then I can kind of take the temperature and make sure everything gets cooked really thoroughly.
So tell me why you chose to do the raw, because I know a lot of people like just by default pick the already cooked shrimp, and so then it's just like a quick way to like get it on the grill.
Yes, because I like my shrimp to not be hard and
Yes,
tough.
and shrimp cooks so fast.
And you can tell really well on a skewer in the grill because the minute it turns from this opaque, like this translucent to a more opaque pink color, you're good.
Yes.
And it's gonna have some carryover heat because the grill's gonna cook it so hot that as long as you have that nice opaque pink color, your shrimp is done. Yes. And this is so fun to season with, adding. We put a little bit of the Chef Todd's kind of all-purpose seasoning on all of these meats. You could just put salt and pepper, or if you knew you were going along one flavor profile, you could put curry powder and a little cayenne and cumin for like a more Indian flavor or something.
But the fun that we're gonna have with all these bowls is
Yes.
being able to add those flavors at the end. And so
Yes.
you're keeping this very neutral and just seasoned so that if you were to eat that by itself, it would still taste good. But the flavor where we're gonna add to make it kind of exotic or wherever we're
Yes.
going today,
Our destination.
yes, is going to be through those flavors at the end.
Yes.
So we've got shrimp, beef, and chicken. I love that you have a variety of skewers here. I personally am one who absolutely loves the metal skewer, mostly because I do not plan ahead when I need to be using the wooden. And the wooden need to soak for a while so they don't get burned on
Yes.
the grill. I'm not always thinking that far ahead when I'm trying to get like a quick weeknight meal. So this is when the metal skewers come in handy because they're ready to go. They also have this flat, I don't know if you can see that, this flat edge that everything sticks so well to that flat edge rather than the rounded skewer. So if you're someone who loves a lot of shish kebabs or maybe is trying to create a fun thing to do all the time, the metal skewers are a great way to keep it like really consistent for you.
Yes. Okay, now potatoes are gonna take the longest to cook. Any of those like dense root vegetables. So that's why I like to put them in their own basket so I can make sure I get a nice char on the outside. So these have been in about 20 minutes and you can kind of see the char with some are sticking. Here's why we love this basket. So helpful.
See how aggressive you can be? Connie,
Yeah.
shake it hard.
Yeah.
Shake it fast. Shake it fast.
Yeah. So those are looking really good. I'm gonna let them go for like another 5 minutes to make sure they're nice and tender. But look how beautiful.
And that flavor
So
is getting
easy.
all around those. What we're really excited about creating this getaway out in our backyards is being able to take all of these components and customize them, but also like have a theme night, right? Like we want to have
Hawaiian
night or Korean night. This is a fun way to do it for the flavors that we're going to be eating. So we've got 2 great sauces. They're going to help elevate those proteins and those vegetables, and even like the grains, and just make it feel extra special.
Okay, we've got our meat on the barbecue, and we're just looking for that shrimp to have that nice pink coloring. I'm gonna start flipping these over.
How long would you say it takes to cook?
Like 3 to 7 minutes.
So
it really
no
depends.
time at all.
Yeah, it really depends on your barbecue or your grill. The more you get to know your grill, the better you're gonna know, like, oh, that's gonna cook hot, and you'll know like your hot spots, right?
Yeah.
But that's kind of what we're looking for. And I do feel like the first side cooks a little slower, and this we're really only gonna leave on like 1 minute, and then I'm gonna take these off.
So don't walk away.
Yeah, don't walk away. Stay close by. And our chicken, we're just gonna let that keep going. Our steak's going good. So we've got our corn on there.
Oh, this is what we want.
Yes.
These little brown spots. This is perfect.
Yes. We're just gonna kind of rotate those, just a little quarter turn. Just let them keep going. That's it. Okay,
We
here's
have
the moment.
all the components. This looks amazing. So we took our grilled bread that you brought, put
our
it in the grill
starches.
basket, right?
Yep.
Okay. We've got all of our veggies. We added in the corn.
So you're gonna start with one of your starches. So rice, potatoes, bread.
Okay. So those
So
are
that's your
bases,
first layer.
Okay.
And then the second layer is where you add your veggies.
Okay.
So layer that on top. And then your optional protein, you can either have each person take a skewer, or you can take these off the skewer.
You just have it.
Yeah, have it all mixed
Okay.
together. So many options.
And then what do you have over here?
So these are fresh toppings. This is where you can really get playful and fun. So this is like your base, and then this is where you like take a seasonal theme. So we're kind of going Mediterranean tonight,
Okay.
or Korean.
So tell me what you would add for the Korean.
So for Korean, I
The
would
rice?
I would do the rice, grilled veggies, probably like a steak. I could do shrimp
Okay.
with that.
Yeah.
I would do cucumbers and carrots, and then your sauce with a little bit of cilantro and a sprinkle of sesame seeds. So good.
One thing that we do for the squeeze bottles too is we do cut the tops a little bit.
Yeah,
because we
give it a
want
little
the
more
sauce
space.
to come out a little quicker. There's nothing worse than you've got a big crowd and everyone's waiting for one bottle of
Right.
sauce. So this is going to allow everything to come out quicker.
Yes.
Tell me about the other version we have.
Yeah, so for Mediterranean, I would probably do the bread or the potatoes, add your vegetables, chicken or shrimp, and then olives. These are garbanzo beans, the carrots. There's some feta, and then I would do that avocado yogurt sauce.
Looks delicious.
Yes, so squirt that on top. But so many fun options. You could take this like Tex-Mex or Cajun, Indian with like a curry powder. So many fun flavor varieties.
But have fun with it. Take flavors that you know your family's going to love and enjoy, and just give it all, just spread out so they can choose and pick however they're going to